Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. To have a very special guest with me today. She is a nail artist. Please welcome Rachel B. Hello, Rachel, and welcome.
Hi.
Hello, hello, hello. So I want to go ahead and get started by asking where you're originally from and tell us about your upbringing.
So I am originally from the Silver Spring and Rockville area. I
Hmm.
grew up most of my adult life was, or like my teenagers and high school was in Rockville. So Montgomery
Hmm.
County is really home for me,
Hmm.
and that's where I grew up. Um, I grew up with a single mom. My parents got divorced at a really young age. So growing up with a mom, she also was a young mom, like a teen mom. And she, pretty much had to do things on her own, had to
Right.
hustle, figure it out. I think a lot of, what I've taken from her is what I um, implement in my life now. So I've learned so many things from my mom. She's struggled with us. I mean,
Hmm.
I've watched her grow, and she's also in the beauty field. So
Yeah.
it introduced me to this world.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, did you
Mhm.
have any interest prior to getting into nails?
I didn't have Honestly, I did not. I was actually a makeup artist.
Oh, wow.
Nails, yeah, I didn't have any interest in nails at all, actually.
Well, that's very, very
Yeah.
interesting.
Hmm.
So, who or what exposed you to the nail industry?
Um, so I was kind of like doing my research too because I was like, why? Like, how did this start? I've been doing it for 3 years. I started during COVID. I
Hmm.
was in property management, which my mom had been doing her whole life, and she kind
Mm.
of brought me into that world too. So I was a
Right.
leasing consultant from the age of like 16 up until I think I quit when I was like 20, 23 maybe.
Mm.
And what really what really got me into it was just like I think a friend of mine and like an aunt of mine were like, "Oh, what if you did press-ons?" So
Right.
press-ons is really what it started with.
Hmm.
Um, and Once I started doing some research and seeing like what supplies I need, I'm like, "Oh, I can do this." And also with that being said, COVID hit. So we were in the middle of COVID. COVID was
Hmm.
crazy, um, and my mental health wasn't doing really well, so
Hmm.
I had to kind of figure out how I could get my spirit up, and press-ons is really what it started with. And um, I specifically two press-on artists that I was like had followed were really so inspiring for me, and that's how
Right.
I kind of tried to maneuver through the
Yeah.
press-ons and all of that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now,
Hmm.
as far as makeup, because I know you mentioned being a makeup artist, like, what was, like,
Yeah.
the makeup that you were doing? Was it, like, like, futuristic makeup? Like, what type of makeup were you doing?
So it really wasn't it didn't really take much. So makeup is an art, right? But
Right.
it
Mhm.
wasn't it was a lot of wedding makeup. So very natural, not too much like artsy
Right, yeah,
creativeness,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I wanna also get into, as well, so you did mention you're in the Silver Spring area, so you're from Gaithersburg. So what is, like, the nail salon scene like in regards to where you live in the DMV area specifically? Are there a lot of nail businesses in Gaithersburg?
So in Gaithersburg, I will say there are a lot of more independent nail artists.
Mhm.
That are either home based or suite based. I will say
Mhm.
there are, your regular traditional salons.
Mhm.
I don't really know much of those. I think because of social
Yeah.
media, I, support more of like the artists, the independent artists, just like me.
Yeah, 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 independent artists,
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm from, Maryland. I live in Maryland too, so,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's very, very interesting how, I think there's a lot of, like, salons in my area specifically, like group, family type salons, there's some independent salons and stuff like that, like how you said, and things like that, so,
Right.
but I do support, like, different independent artists, and, like, due to social media, I started to discover other independent artists in the DMV area, so it's very cool to see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's so cool.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. So you have your own nail studio where you just mentioned, offering press-ons and full set gel X. So
Yeah.
what has been the journey in regards to having your own nail studio, and were there any setbacks or obstacles you faced while building your studio?
So when I first opened up my studio, I opened it up with my mom. I stopped doing press on, so I did at some point, I think in like year two, like towards the end of year two, I just stopped doing press ons because all my time was focused on actual clientele and building
Right.
clientele and then social media. And
Mhm.
so I opened it up with my mom, and I think like obviously it's scary because you're moving out of your house now, and now you got to pay like suite rent.
Right.
Um, so
Mhm.
it was for me. I will say like the transition was really easy because I didn't have so much cost up front like monthly
Right.
because I was sharing the space, and it felt nice to have my like knowing my mom was there or she'd be there on the weekends like doing makeup.
Right.
Um, so as far as opening up a suite, I don't think any challenges really. I didn't have much challenge, um, or anything that really got in the way, you know. So
Mhm.
like again in super easy transition
Mhm.
for me.
Mm. Yeah, that's good,
Hmm.
that's cool.
Hmm.
Now you
Yeah.
offer nail classes ranging from nail extension to nail art. Tell us more about these courses and what do the students learn?
So I offer in person and virtual. Most of what I
Mhm.
focus on is a lot of the Gel X.
Right.
And I, decided to teach it, I think, more towards the second year because
Mhm.
there wasn't really there aren't really many educators other than like online and, you
Right.
could take a flight. But in Maryland and Montgomery County specifically, there aren't a lot. I haven't seen anyone really teaching it,
Yeah,
so
right.
that's really what had me start, teaching. As far as what I teach like everything. So I don't gatekeep nothing. I show them from prep to application to even a removal. You're watching me
Mhm.
do everything in person, and I set them up for success and just like be real realistic with the students that I have, and very transparent, as far as like
Right.
I do get a lot of moms, which is really cool because you can relate so much.
Yeah.
So I share all my tips, all my secrets, everything.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Yeah, and the
Hmm.
thing is also too with the DMV area, I don't think it gets as much of a rep. You know what I mean? Like a thing where it's like big and stuff like that. I feel like the DMV area is underrated as far as like nail artists and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's not like as big as like New York or LA or like, Chicago's getting more popular
Oh
as
yeah.
far as nail art and things like that. But I think the DMV area, the Maryland, DC, and Virginia area is slept on.
For sure. I was just talking about that with somebody, how like there's so many talented people in the DMV area. It's insane, insane.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, most definitely. So, what
Hmm.
has been the journey as far as pricing like your nail services? Do you find it difficult in the beginning as far as pricing your nail services and, nail art and things like that?
So, for me, yes, because we're so hard on ourselves,
Right.
and
Yeah.
we're so in the beginning, and that's just I'm gonna speak for myself, but it's so intimidating thinking about like pricing. And when I first started out, I think I was doing like 40. I was doing free sets. Then I started doing like $30,
Mhm.
$40. Then I got to the point where I was doing just like $80, 70, like everything under $100, right? Once I started noticing like my work getting better, I'm just like, and then all the things that I'm implementing into like the
Mhm.
service as far as cuticle care, and now my retention is like what 4 weeks, 5 weeks? That's
Right.
crazy. Um, at that point, I was like, yep, like my prices need to go up, and doing my own research, even
Mhm.
if it wasn't like artists here in the DMV. Um,
Right.
I was looking at other artists and what they were offering, and they're doing the same things that I do, and
Right.
super
Mhm.
detailed, like intricate, work. And it's really hard because obviously like you do lose clients, but those same clients that you lose will end up coming back, for a special occasion, or
Right.
and I can understand like inflation is insane right now.
Yeah.
So that's something else I had to consider is like the inflation. And now that I'm the only one responsible for my suite,
Right.
and then I have a family, so I had to kind of like set aside my fears and just kind of go for it and just say like, at the end of the day, the clients will come, they'll be there. The ones that can afford me will be here.
Right, absolutely. And the thing is
Mhm.
also too, I think I've struggled with pricing personally, especially, in my, beginning stages in nail art, especially when I was, getting into press-ons and things like that. But,
Yeah.
I've also looked at how people price their stuff and things like that. And of course, you don't have to price it exactly like how they price it, but you want to make sure you price it to a point where you understand your worth and your value, and that's very, very important. And I like how a
Yep.
lot more nail artists, whether they do press-ons, nail services, are charging like 80 to over 100 or so dollars for a nail service. Even with press-ons, like that can cost like 100, 200, 300 something bucks, and things like
Yeah.
that. So it's just because of the quality of the products we use in
Yep.
regards to like gels and the tips and things like that. So
Yep.
there's a lot of things that I think, is definitely in consideration. I think that's something that clients have to understand as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then like think about like the education, you still got to continue your education and take this course and take that course. So I think that's also very important as a nail artist, is just
Mhm.
continuing to educate yourself even if it's something that you already know, like, or you feel like you've mastered. So, yeah, comes into
Yeah.
play with everything.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So for
Mhm.
your nail studio, do you plan to offer like any other like, beauty services, or is it just going to be solely like nail services?
So right now, just nail services.
Mhm.
I hope to, one day open up a salon, and I'd love to be able to offer pedicures and what, like body, like waxing and things like that. As far as me and the services that I'd offer, I'd probably get into the pedicures and nails. I
Mhm.
might need to just focus on nails because I am like in such high demand for that. But I
Mhm.
I do genuinely enjoy pedicures. I will say that I'm very as far as like even just with the cleanup and the prep, I'm real
Mhm.
detailed. So the people who got pedicure, they're like, bring it back.
Yeah, yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly. And I like the French tips you have on your nails. Like, it's one side is like white, one side is black.
Ah,
So,
thank you.
yeah, very clean, flush, French tips.
Thank
Your work is
you.
very, very cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to go ahead and talk about AI and social media, specifically technology. So we live in a digital age of AI and social media, and technology has gotten so advanced over time. What is your perspective in regards to the growth of technology and how it has helped your business?
Um, I- so I haven't really got too much into that, but I feel like if we are talking about social media, like social media has helped so much. Um, and it continues to inspire me even just in my content creating, the apps that I use, playing around and seeing what you can do with your videos, and things like that. I'm kind of, I feel like I'm still not there yet, but
Right,
I would love to really tap into more of those things as
right.
far as getting more creative with like content creating, the editing, that process.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
most definitely. Yeah, AI is getting, so big now, as far as like the AI art,
Yep.
people using AI in terms of chat GBT and things like that,
Right.
And so there's certain things, I think AI can do some good with, maybe websites, building like social media stuff, but AI can be scary because, they're doing like robots and self-driving
Right.
cars and things like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. What are
It
some of,
is.
like, your favorite nail products to use for, like, nail art and nail services?
So some of my favorite products and the ones that I use like on a daily are Valentino for
Mhm,
one. I do work with the brand Madam Glam.
mhm,
I've been loving their polishes. Um, D&D, iGel Beauty, and then obviously for my gel X, like I solely I swear by a Prey. So a Prey are the
mhm,
tips that I use, and the system, that's exactly what I use every single day.
mhm. Yeah, there's
Hmm.
so many, like, products that are out now, like,
So
there's, like,
many.
chromes and there's, like, potted gel polishes and things like that, like or potted art gel, excuse me,
Right.
pigments, and it is so much stuff, I love, doing the 3D nail gel,
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
having a nice quality, high quality pigmented polish is everything.
Yeah. So it's so important. As far, yeah, like with the nail art, there's so many things you can do. So many. I like save everything that I want to buy. I wish I could just buy it all at one time.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
There again, like, the materials is just so expensive.
It is. It is. It is for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, it's mad expensive. So, if you had a
Mhm.
top 5 list of your favorite nail artists, who would they be and why?
So I had to write that one down. I had to like think about that because I follow so many good artists, and I was like, do I answer that question? So right now, Dev Nails is like my top fave. Like I love her. Her art is just so good. Um, she is so creative. Like she's just so creative, down to just her the aesthetic of like her salon.
Mhm,
Another one that I find myself always like going to her page all the time and like liking all her stuff is Nailed by Cleo. Nailed by Cleo,
mhm.
she
Yeah,
has
Cleo?
her art is yeah. Oh my gosh, her art is like crazy. There's another girl who I always actually get inspiration from, or like my clients will bring me inspo from her page. Hers is 323 dot cherry, I believe,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. Mhm.
her work is great. Her work is great, and she hers is like more of like the trendy. um Her art is just amazing.
Right.
And then Tino Vo, I think is his
Yeah,
name.
Tino Vo?
Tino Vo, I find myself looking at his page all the time, and the little tutorials he does are like so cool.
Yeah.
But those, I want to say those are my top um nail favorite nail artists for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, that's really, really cool. I think that's, like,
Yeah.
4. I think you have 1 more.
Well, so I was trying to think of a fifth. I don't know. I don't know. I could not think of a fifth. Um, yeah, I don't. I'm blank on the fifth one.
It's cool, it's cool. Yeah, yeah,
I
but
follow
these
so many talented artists, though. I will say, like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
wish I could have had them all in my head.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, it's all good though. Yeah,
Yeah.
like Tino Vo, is very, very talented.
Oh
323
yeah.
Cherry. Yeah, her work is very, very cool. I think one thing that I've noticed about with 323 Cherry in a way and Nail by Cleo, they have like this tattoo artist type of vibe with their nail art.
Yep.
It looks like tattoos, like,
Yes.
especially with Nail by Cleo. Like she always does like
Oh
a
my gosh.
nude, and it has like that tattoo type of design, like on skin or something.
Yep. Yep. It's so like, oh, like her precision. It's so perfect. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. So I want to get
Yeah.
into this other topic. So not only are you a businesswoman and a nail tech, but you're also a mom as well. So how have you been able to juggle being a parent and being a businesswoman?
So I'm a mom and a wife,
Mhm.
and that in itself is it's been really tough. I
Mhm.
do a lot of people ask me that same question, and I will say like juggling it is so hard because I have places where I'm trying to go, and
Right,
as far as like being able to um give my kids the future that they deserve.
right.
um it is really hard. Like balancing is very hard. I do tell my client, even my clients, like I'll talk to them like, girl, I don't know how I do it. Like I try to balance. So I give myself 2 days off during the week. And those moments, like I really do try to spend time with my kids,
Mhm.
and just like solely focus on them during those days. But even, I mean, I will catch myself taking clients on a day, like on a Monday, right? Because I'm off Sundays and Mondays. I will catch myself taking some clients on a Monday, but I feel like what I love what I do so much, and of course I
Mhm.
love my kids, but I love what I do so much, and all I know is that I'm setting myself and my kids and my family up for success at the end of the day. And so I'm trying
Absolutely.
to reach a place where I have like financial freedom,
Right.
and where I don't have to, do so like be the one behind the chair all the time. Like maybe somebody else can work for me, or be in my place, right? So that's
Mhm.
really my ultimate goal. And so as far as like the juggling, it's really hard. It's hard, and it's not the easiest thing to do.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Now, if you had
Mhm.
one valuable piece of advice for up and coming nail artists and nail techs, what would it be?
I would say not to give up, and continuing to practice and putting those skills. Even if you are completely new to the field, to the industry, with my students, for example, like I just all I can tell them is continue to practice, and
Right.
continue, even if you have to do free work, you do what you got to do at the end of the day, because
Right.
most of the time when you start out, you're starting at home. You're
Yeah.
starting at home, and if you have friends and family, like they'll come, they'll support, and if they don't, there's so many people. Social media is so big.
Right.
One thing I could really the advice I could give to people getting into the field is social media, just getting into social media, putting yourself completely out on social media, your work, taking pic. Even if you feel like it don't look good, like I promise you, you're gonna look back at that and you're gonna be like, wow, this is where I started from. I don't delete all my old work. So if you look down and you scroll through to the bottom, very bottom, you'll see some of the first sets I did on actual clients. But you'll
Right.
also see some of my press-ons, I think. So that's some advice I really can give to somebody getting new and getting into this field.
Yeah, absolutely. Last but not least, where can people find you on social media? How can people support you and your business?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Where can people find? Oh, excuse me. Where can people find you on social media, and how can people support you and your work?
So you can find me on Instagram and I'm on Instagram and on TikTok. My both of my handles are Beauty by Rachel B, and on Instagram I have two L's in my name. Um, as far as like bookings and things like that, I do manual booking, so everyone has to go through
Mhm.
my idea. I do have a booking site, however, because I
Mhm.
have to, I go through a certain I have certain steps that I take to book a client. And so it's
Right.
just easier for me to manually book the person or like manually send them my link. So if you ever want to book an appointment, you're able to just come
Mhm.
on in my DM and just book with me from there.
All right, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for jumping onto the show. Your work is absolutely great.
Of course. Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed our conversation. This was a great conversation. So thank you so much, and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye. Hello, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and visit my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care, stay healthy, and stay beautiful. Bye bye.